What is up, everybody? I hope everyone is enjoying the absolutely gorgeous weather that we're having today. Um, this is, I mean, yes, Labor Day is kind of the unofficial end of summer, but it's feeling more and more like fall. It's feeling more and more like fall, and I, for one, am just ecstatic. I never want to wish the summer away, but you know what? When it comes to this time of year, it is absolutely wonderful. Football has started. We got high school, college, and the NFL getting started this week, as well as it's the start of September. The kids are back to school, and like the title of the video says, do you we're you're probably done with your school shopping, but have you thought about insurance? Because that could be a major player in your back to school arsenal here. So we're going to jump into what the heck am I talking about, as well as just some friendly reminders. And for those of you that, speaking of reminders, don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Turbo Jackson. I am your insurance resource, and I like to break down insurance policies, language, kind of make sure that you know what you're buying, because let's be honest, insurance is its own language. So let me help you. And yes, we're going to be talking about the kiddos going back to school. This video is mostly about your older children, your college bound children going back to school, getting back, whether they're still living at home and commuting or living on campus. This is a big deal for them, and it might be something that you might not have thought about. So I always like to do this video every time around this year. And on top of that, every insurance agent knows that it is Life Insurance Awareness Month. So this is going to be one of the kickoffs to kind of my little 4-part series that I do every year about life insurance. And this is the time when when we talk about life insurance, most of the time we're talking about protecting your assets. You bust your butt your whole life, but you want to make sure that your assets are covered if something does happen. And life insurance is the only insurance policy that you're guaranteed to have a claim. I don't think anyone's figured out how to live forever. So this is the one policy that's guaranteed to have a claim. You can go your entire life without having a home and auto claim, but life insurance is a little bit different. Okay, we're all here for a good time, not a long time, if you want to put it that way. But this is kind of different because, like I mentioned, kids are going back to school. College kids are getting back on campus, and we as parents a lot of times co-sign for loans so that our kids can pursue their dreams. They can reach that next level. And a lot of times we really don't think about the loans that we're taking out or co-signing. And this could be for parents as well as if you are indeed a student going back to school and you're getting back on campus, this should be something that you're really thinking about. Now, if you're one of the fortunate ones that have your college paid for, whether it be scholarships or parents paying for it, those folks are few and far between. Most of us have to take out loans. I did to go to college. So what happens as a parent if you co-sign for these loans and something tragic happens? Now, I know I've told this story before, but again, this is a hit home situation. I was taking a life insurance class, and the instructor herself, who works for one of the companies that I work with, her daughter was going to college and racked up about $80,000 in student debt, all of which her mom co-signed for. And one tragic night, her daughter was taken from us, and her mom was left with the entire bill. And as you can imagine, I know I don't have the ability to write a check for $80,000. So for the next few years, this family was burdened by that debt, which could have easily been taken care of with a life insurance policy. In particular, when we're talking about this type of situation, we're talking about a term policy, and at the minimum, I would suggest a 10-year term. I guess at the very minimum, a 5-year term, but realistically a 10-year term, to where your student is completing their degree and at least has a little bit of time to get their feet under them, get a job in the workforce, and possibly refinance those loans into their own name. At which point, I would suggest a different policy for your student. But for the sake of this video, let's not even go down that route. Let's talk the simple term life policy. And what we would do is set up a, like I said, at a minimum, a 10-year policy. And let's say your student has projected, let's say $25,000 in debt. We would write a 10-year term policy for your student. And it's something that you yourself as the parent could pay for, the student could pay for, a grandparent could pay for. It doesn't matter who's really paying for it as long as it's being paid. And in the event that something does happen, that life insurance policy gets paid out to the beneficiaries, which if you're the cosigner, you would be the beneficiary of this, and you could disperse the funds and make sure the debts are paid. And all while doing this, that money is tax-free. Remember, life insurance benefits are tax-free, which is huge, 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 huge. Which again, we'll talk about in a little bit more in depth as we move through the month of September. But like I said, I always like to kick the month off with this topic in particular because it's one of the easiest, one of the least expensive, and one of those protect your asset type of things that is extremely important when it comes to your financial planning and just your planning all along. So you might be saying, well, Ryan, how much does one of these policies cost? Well, the good thing is that your student is, between 18 and 20, 22, somewhere in there. And the earlier you get a life insurance policy, the better. And because the younger you are, the less expensive they are. And like I said, this is going to be at minimum a 10-year term. Now, if you want to go whole hog and set your student up for even more success, and if they are under the age of 18, we can talk about a children's policy that not only once they reach 18, the benefit increases, but also at 21 or 22, I believe, increases again without any underwriting and without any premium increase. So if you want to talk about setting your student up the right way, guns blazing, coming out the gate, that would be my ultimate policy to write. Now, like you said, how expensive are these? I would guess that, and now this is just a complete guess, less than $10 a month, at the most 20, at the most, depending on the benefit amount, of course. But for pennies on the dollar like that, to me, it's a no-brainer. To me, it's a no-brainer to not only make sure that all my T's are crossed and I's are dotted, but also add that added security that in the event something does happen, that debt isn't falling on, like for instance, me and my wife, and that would be one other burden with, aside from the passing of your student, but also a financial burden that really doesn't need to be there. So to me, the peace of mind of having a policy like this in place is huge. So when it comes to these, everything is very, very simple, very easy. And if you are, like for instance, an auto owner's client, it's a discount on your home and auto as well. So for all of my Abbott and Powers folks out there that are auto owners clients, you have students that are getting ready or have already embarked in this, the discount you would get on your home and your auto might take care of 70%, 80%, heck, maybe even the whole life policy, just because we're adding that multi-policy discount on there as well. So there are ways to find these policies extremely, extremely cheap. So keep that in mind. And also, one last thing aside from life insurance, because I know life insurance is boring. I know no one wants to talk about it, but it's something that as your insurance resource, I have to bring up because it's part of life. It is part of life. And one other thing is that around this time of year, it's actually the best time to take a look at your home and auto insurance. Now you might be saying, well, Ryan, my home and auto insurance doesn't renew until, April of next year or May of next year or even December of this year. But if you get into a routine of kids go back to school, September rolls around, Labor Day weekend's out of the way, okay. If you get in that habit every year around this time of year, even if your renewal isn't for a couple months, at least you're taking a peek at it. And when you're looking at things like this, make sure have either write down a checklist, or that might be a video that I'll do next week or in the coming weeks, is when you review your policy, what should you be looking for? And check the dwelling coverage. Do you think it's adequate? If not, call your agent and have a talk with them. Make sure your liability is where it needs to be. Do I need an umbrella? Of course you do. Everyone needs an umbrella. So if you don't, maybe that's a talking point with your agent. But open up this line of communication with your agent, because ultimately your agent works for you, not the other way. Not the other way around. Yes, you might pay them money, but they work for you. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And if you would like me to take, and by all means, if you'd like me to take a look at what you currently have and offer my suggestions, I'd be more than happy to do that. And if you'd like to get a hold of me directly, you can comment on this video. You can shoot me a message on Facebook, or this is the number to my office, as well as my email. So I always say there's no such thing as dumb questions. And I guarantee if you have that question, someone else does too. So by asking that question, you'll be helping that person out too. And if you don't have any kids in school, or you don't have kids, period, help someone that might. Share this video, because I guarantee once you share this on your timeline, other folks will see it and they might be like, oh crap, I really should do that. And this might end up saving them a huge, huge headache. So that's my spiel for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Get out and enjoy the weather, and I will see you next week.